Many people over 60 believe strokes are just something that happens out of the blue. But the truth is far more subtle. What feels like sudden is often your body having rising pressure, weakening signals, and a nervous system losing its rhythm. But if you stay with us during this episode, you will hear good news. Because just a few seconds a day, done consistently, can restore the calm, stable state your brain depends on to protect itself. Welcome back to the Senior Health Podcast, where science meets tradition and where lived experience lights the path forward. In today's episode, we're diving into something rarely talked about: how gentle daily habits can help reduce stroke risk after 60 without any medication. Now, here's something worth listening to closely. A 2021 study from the Journal of Stroke and Cerebrovascular Diseases found that nervous system dysfunction, especially poor vagal tone, is strongly linked to higher stroke risk in older adults. But almost no senior is ever taught how to strengthen this part of the body. So to change that, sitting across from me is a man who has helped thousands of seniors prevent strokes. Over 100 years old, he still shows up for us every day. Doctor, welcome back. Thank you, John. Today, most people still think of strokes as purely a blood problem, clogged arteries, high pressure, maybe cholesterol. But the truth runs deeper. Stroke risk begins in the nervous system, in the quiet breakdown of signals between your brain, your heart, and your body. And once that system slips out of rhythm, everything else follows. That really makes me pause because it reframes everything. We spend so much time focusing on numbers, blood pressure, cholesterol, medications, but we rarely ask how those numbers are controlled. We don't ask how the body keeps its own balance in the first place. Exactly. That's the missing piece. We've treated the body like a set of parts, but it's a network. Your heartbeat, your breath, your brain sense of safety, they are all linked. And when we strengthen that link, we reduce the conditions that allow strokes to take hold. So you're saying it's not just about the arteries or the heart. It's about the feedback loop that keeps everything running smoothly, yes. And in this episode, I will walk you through 3 simple tricks every senior can do that strengthens that loop. No medication, no devices, just simple daily movements anyone can do in under a minute, and together they help the body calm itself, restore balance and protect the brain before anything goes wrong. Doctor, how important is it that Play-Doh not skip parts of this episode? Very important, John. I hope our listeners will stay with us to the end, because although some exercises will sound simple, understanding them is key. Talking about strokes, I always think of an old patient of mine. He was 73, healthy, active, no real issues. Then one day, he had what he thought was just a dizzy spell on the stairs, but it turned out to be a mini-stroke. Some days later, he got a real one, unconscious, and had to spend a week recovering in hospital. He wished he had known these tricks to prevent what happened to him. I can imagine the warning signs are always there, and the tricks we will discuss in a minute will help the system remember how to respond. So, let's not wait. What's the first thing someone can do today to start protecting themselves? The first thing someone can do, John, is surprisingly simple. But don't let that fool you. It's a technique that uses the strongest muscle in the human body. The tongue, yes, the tongue. Most people never think of it as powerful, but where it rests and how it moves can send signals through the entire nervous system. And when placed in just the right position for just a few seconds a day, it can quietly activate a part of your body that holds the key to preventing strokes, easing tension, and restoring balance. That's fascinating. So, how exactly does someone do it? Is there a specific way the tongue should be placed? Yes. Here's how it works. You gently press the tip of your tongue against the roof of your mouth, just behind your 2 front teeth. Not too hard, just enough to feel contact. As you do this, take a slow breath in through your nose and exhale even slower through your mouth. Do that for about 10 seconds. What this does is stimulate a nerve that controls everything from your heartbeat to your digestion. The vagus nerve, that's the same nerve you've talked about before, right? The one connected to calm, blood pressure, even inflammation. Exactly. The vagus nerve is the body's built-in calming switch. It runs from your brainstem all the way to your gut, and when it's activated, your body shifts into what we call the parasympathetic state. That means lower heart rate, more stable blood vessels, reduced inflammation, and crucial protection against the kind of internal chaos that often precedes a stroke. So, you're saying this one little tongue movement can start to undo years of nervous system stress? Yes, if it's done regularly. This is not a magic pill. It's more like a reset button. You press it each day, and over time your body starts remembering how to stay calm under pressure. That's where prevention begins. And most people wouldn't even think twice about where their tongue is during the day. That's what's so surprising. That's the beauty of it. It doesn't require any equipment, medication, or appointments. Just awareness and a moment of attention. In traditional Japanese medicine, we say the simplest movements bring the deepest healing. That really lands because it's not about fixing something broken. It's about reconnecting something that's gone quiet. Yes, modern life pulls the nervous system into a state of constant alert even when there's no danger. Over time, this pressure builds. The vessels tighten. The signals falter, and then one day the system fails. But if we can restore that calm even for just a few breaths a day, we give the body a chance to recover before it's too late. And you've seen this kind of change in your patients many times. I've had older patients tell me their sleep improved, their balance returned, their thinking felt clearer, and all they did was start with this one simple habit. It doesn't replace medical care, of course, but it supports the system in a way medicine often doesn't, by teaching the body how to help itself. So for someone listening, if they hear for the first time, what should they expect to feel? Some feel calmer right away. Others notice their breath deepens or their thoughts slow down just a bit. But the real changes come with repetition. Because what you're really doing is rebuilding a pathway the body forgot. That's incredibly empowering. A habit so quiet most people would overlook it, yet powerful enough to change how your body responds to the world. And once the body starts responding differently, everything else begins to change. I'm starting to see what you mean. It's not the size of the habit, it's what it connects to. And now I can't help but wonder if the tongue can do that. What else might we be missing? What we're missing, John, is our own voice. Not just in speech, but in vibration, in sound. The next trick I teach isn't spoken at all, but it involves a sound that comes from deep within. It's called humming. And when done with intention, it becomes one of the most powerful tools for resetting the nervous system. A soft hum paired with your breath can activate the vagus nerve even more deeply than tongue pressure alone. That's incredible. I've never once thought of humming as a health practice, more like a mindless thing people do in traffic. And yet, it's ancient. In both Japanese and Indian traditions, the use of sound to settle the body goes back thousands of years. Modern science now confirms that humming, especially during long exhalation, slows the heart, widens the vessels, and calms the brain. It even improves nitric oxide production, which supports better blood flow to the brain. So, how does someone actually do it? Is there a right way to hum for this toe work? It's simple. Inhale gently through the nose. Then hum softly as you exhale, like a gentle sound. Do that for 1 or 2 minutes a day, and you're teaching your body how to relax on command. That feels almost meditative, like you're using sound to speak directly to your nerves. Exactly. It bypasses thought and it brings awareness back into the body. That's what healing often requires. Not just knowledge, but attention. So many people feel disconnected from their own body by the time they reach their 60s. That's why habits like this are so powerful. They aren't just calming. They restore a sense of ownership over your health. That hum becomes a kind of anchor, a signal that you're still here, still aware, still in charge. And over time, that shifts how your entire system behaves. It's like a nervous system handshake between the brain and the body. A beautiful way to put it. And remember, people with a high blood pressure, poor sleep, or brain fog often have poor vagal tone. These are early warning signs. Humming, just like the tongue technique, gives your system a gentle rehearsal off balance. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes. I've noticed you keep saying the word gentle. That feels intentional. It is. The nervous system doesn't respond well to force. It responds to rhythm. It needs repetition, softness, safety. These are the conditions that help the body return to homeostasis. That's something I think a lot of listeners need to hear. We're often told to push harder, try more, add more, but maybe what we need is to listen more deeply. So, doctor, you mentioned 3 tricks in total. What's number 3? The third one, John, is what I call the neck reset. It's a slow, intentional movement designed to stimulate the baroreceptus. These are tiny pressure sensors on either side of the neck just above the collarbone. They play a crucial role in regulating blood pressure, blood flow to the brain, and the body's ability to shift between stress and calm. But over time, especially in older adults, those sensors become less responsive, often because of chronic tension in the jaw, neck, or shoulders. When that happens, the brain starts getting confused signals about what's happening in the body. And that confusion is one of the quiet forces that can raise stroke risk. So, you're saying that something as common as neck tightness can actually distort the body's ability to regulate pressure and flow? Yes. And it happens more often than people realize. We sit hunched. We crane our heads forward. We stop moving the neck in full ranges. And over time, that tension builds. The baroreceptus becomes sluggish. The blood vessels stiffen. And the brain has to work harder to get the oxygen it needs. That's when people start feeling lightheaded, foggy, or unstable, but they rarely connected tot-air posture. And how do you help someone reverse that pattern? What exactly is the neck reset? It's a very gentle practice. You begin seated or standing with a tall spine. Inhale slowly through the nose. Then as you exhale, turn your head slowly to the left, just to a comfortable range. No straining. Pause there. Inhale again. Then exhale and rotate the head slowly to the right. Finish with a small chin tuck as if you're making space at the back of your neck. And breathe deeply once more. I can already feel my body relaxing just listening to that. That's because movement paired with breath is a natural signal of safety. The vagus nerve and baroreceptus both respond to slow, deliberate shifts. And when the body senses safety, it stops overreacting, blood pressure lowers. Circulation improves. Inflammation cools. The neck reset isn't a stretch. It's a signal, a conversation with your own internal wiring. It almost sounds like Yuri teaching the nervous system a new language or maybe helping it remember an old one. That's exactly it. Most of us forget how to speak the body's language. But these micro habits are tongue placement, humming, and neck release. They each tap into primal systems that know how to protect us if we let them. I've seen patients regain steadiness, sharper thinking, even fewer dizzy spells. Not because of what we added, but because of what we helped reset. And the most powerful part, these practices cost nothing, but they give everything. There's such a sense of dignity in that, reminding people that their bodies still know how to heal. It's what I believe most deeply, that healing is not always about new tools. Sometimes it's about ancient reflexes gently awakened. In Japan we say the body is not a machine to be fixed but a garden to be tended. These habits are like water, like sunlight. Small steady things that make life possible. And they do more than reduce stroke risk. They restore trust. It's humbling to hear that. So many people think health has to be loud or hard. But what you're saying is that quiet can be just as strong, maybe even stronger. Quiet is where the body listens. Loudness often masks the deeper imbalances. But these quiet acts, when done daily, begin to rewire the system not just for protection, but for presence. It makes me think these 3 habits you've shared, they're not flashy. No machines, no apps, no technology, but they meet people exactly where they are. And now that we've walked through them, I'm wondering, where does someone begin? What's the best way to make this part of the life starting now? Start with just one, John. The tongue trick, the humming breath, or the neck reset. Whichever feels most natural. What matters is not doing all 3 perfectly, but doing one of them consistently. And once that rhythm is built, the body will start asking for more. That's a powerful way to look at it, not as a checklist, but as a conversation with your own health. Exactly. These aren't tasks. They're invitations. Invitations to slow down, to reconnect, to listen inward before something goes wrong. And once people feel even a small change, they start to remember what stability feels like. There's a real beauty in that, remembering that we can feel steady again because steadiness is not lost. It's just buried beneath years of noise. And these practices clear the way back. It's deeply encouraging to everyone listening. If you think this was awesome episode, leave us with a thumbs up and a comment that you completed the episode. We love to know who finishes and who doesn't. See you in the next episode.